So, yeah, I just got done reading on page 32 of Martin Fowler's book on refactoring, how he's not very happy with the vector collection, which is the style of collection that was available at the time that he wrote the book. And I'm thinking this is a pretty good time probably to switch over from vector to an array list. And I haven't really thought through a lot what's the safest way to do that. But I'm thinking this is a small enough file where I think we can just kind of wing it. Depending on the complexity of things, you might want to be more planful when doing this. But what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to say I'm going to get rid of enumeration and vector, and I'm going to replace them with an array list. Okay, so first of all, just getting rid of the import on there highlights all the vector and enumeration stuff for me. So that kind of helps. So I'm going to go in here and say private. Instead of saying a private vector, it's going to be an array list, and it's going to be an array list of rentals. Let's see, I'm going to start this, I'm going to initialize this in my constructor instead of, since name is being initialized there. I'm going to say rentals equals new array list rental. Okay, and now I can just kind of click on my little red horizontal lines to get my next things. Okay, so for an array list, the way you add something to an array list is, well, you know what we can do? Again, we can just use our little trick. If I say control here, you see there's this little thing that says add. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do add arg. Okay, just popped it right in for us. That was nice. Okay, and then if we want to get a particular item out of that list, it's get index. And I don't think we need this cast if our array list is already defined as a rental, do we? Maybe. Oh. Oh, okay. So yeah, so we don't need the cast because since array list is a generic type and we stuck in that these are all rentals here. What's next here? So our next red line says can't find the symbol enumeration. Okay, so we have a much nicer way of looping through rentals. Actually, what we can do instead of doing this enumeration business, we can just say for rental each out of rentals. Then we don't have to set this. So see, we're getting rid of a lot of lines of code because we have a nice new way of doing collections. And we can do the same thing down here. Actually, it would have been made more sense. It would have been better if I'd have done this earlier on, because then I wouldn't have so many changes to do. But let's go ahead. Let's see, I'm just going to copy this for. We don't need the enumeration again. We don't need this. Okay, and then here again I can copy the for over, actually over these three lines, right? The enumeration, the while, and this for loop does all those three things for me at once. Okay, so it says for rental each in the array list of rentals. It goes through and looks at each time. Okay, so let's see if that works. Yep, all our tests passed. So that was again, that was not in the Fowler book, but he was kind of complaining on page 32 about how using vector is kind of clunky and adds a bunch of lines. So I thought this would be a good place to put that in. And again, the syntax is this nice syntax right here, for, and then this is kind of like a little declaration of the temporary variable you want in each iteration. And here's your array list, okay? And don't forget the colon in between. And that does the work of those three lines of you know, enumeration equals and while next, and then having to set it. So, all right. So again, a little bit of cleaner code because thanks to a later version of Java.